Hey, how's
Hello,
it
everybody.
going? Welcome to another live cooking with us. Today we're going to show you how to make a vegan birthday cake. Da, 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 da,
It's
da,
the
da,
birthday time,
da.
Ben, for everybody.
Well, the thing is that we realized, well, first it was a request. Our good friend Marla actually loves this cake and she requested to know how to make it. But also, I think it's pretty relevant because there's people having birthdays every day while we're in quarantine. And this is a really easy cake to make, even if you've never made a cake before, and it's vegan. My one disclaimer is, on this channel, I love to preach about things that are healthy and oil-free and sugar-free and not processed. This is none of those things. This is processed sugar, processed flour. So I do not advocate having this often. This is a special occasion cake. Not something to have all the time, not something for weight loss, not something that you want to be treating yourself to all the time. This is special occasions. So that's my major disclaimer. I don't want to seem hypocritical at all,
Right.
but I have to say everybody that I make this cake for loves it.
Yeah, I mean, and this was like, I think by accident. I think you made it for
I made it for my mom the very first time
Oh
for
my
her
gosh,
birthday
really?
in 2016. Another thing about this cake, the first time I made it, I tried to make like double the recipe to make a layer cake. This cake does not do well standing alone.
Doesn't
It
layer.
definitely like
It layers when you do this
yeah,
to it.
it just slides. So you need to make sure that you have it in some kind of pan. What I'm going to show you today is just making it in a, what is this? Just like a round baking pan. Like
Right.
this would be, I would do double and I would make a layer. The cake doesn't work well as a layer cake. Just be warned. You could also make cupcakes out of this. You could use it in like a rectangular baking pan as well. That works too. Yeah, I've never made it in a bundt cake or bundt, form before, but I feel like it works really well. If you do decide to make these in cupcake form, make sure that you do not overfill them. About 2/3 of the way is a good way, otherwise they're just gonna explode. But that being said, I have some tips as we go into it. But before we go into the actual cake making, let's talk about sauerkraut, because last week we did make homemade sauerkraut. You showed us how to make it,
Right.
and there was a huge response in regards
Lots of
to
comments on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram and stuff. So we were like, okay, well, people definitely love sauerkraut in this country. And I was surprised, to be honest. I'm like, wow, that's amazing response.
Yeah, so you had some questions, and I'm gonna let you answer because,
Yeah, so
this is
basically, one of the questions was that, so for example, some people like to mix their cabbage with like garlic or like onions. Onions I never heard about, but okay.
well, you can do like pickled onions, but we don't normally
Carrots.
make that.
No, but like inside of the sauerkraut.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So there was like carrots and stuff. So I'm like, well, and the question was, would I keep the same measuring regarding the salt when I'm adding more of the vegetables? And I would say probably no. I would say the salt has to be equivalent to the weight of the whole jar or whatever you're storing.
Like
this
whatever
thing
volume
is.
of
So
vegetables.
let's say
is inside.
if the cabbage is like 3 pounds and you add 1 pound of the carrot, you have to add it as a 4 pound, the whole thing. But that's a guess. I've never done this, so I don't really know. But that's
We just like
kind
it
of my
super
guess.
basic, so
Yeah.
we've not really experimented with it. So if you do experiment with it, let us know. If you don't know what we're talking about, go to our part 5, Easy Vegan Quarantine Cooking Ideas, how to make homemade sauerkraut. I'm pretty sure that's the title. And the whole recipe is in the description. Also, if you're looking for even more recipes, I have a ton of free recipes on my YouTube channel. Just look for the playlist
That's right.
for vegan recipes. Also, you can go to my website, Vegan Michele.
There's
to
a
get
lot of free
a
stuff.
lot of
yeah.
free recipes. And
good
also,
ones.
since I'm about to make a really unhealthy vegan birthday cake, let's go ahead and pitch my vegan weight loss course. If you've eaten too much of this cake and then you decide while you're in quarantine you no longer look like little Debbie, but you look like large Deborah, and you need some help, I can absolutely help you with that. So I do have a vegan weight loss course. I've helped a lot of people achieve a lot of goals and results regarding weight loss and just changing their idea about how to eat healthy. I feel like such a hypocrite saying that right before making a cake, but check out the website if you're interested in that and interested in
Right.
working with me one-on-one.
And there's a reason why we're making this cake. Even though, like Michele said, the layers doesn't work, this doesn't work, it's unhealthy,
It's
and all
really
this
good.
stuff. But the idea is, this is the best. I'm not kidding you guys. I had so many birthday cakes in my whole life, and this thing is like the cake. And like Michele said, a lot of friends, they're like, what is this? When as soon as they ask like, where did you get the recipe, or like how did you make it, or what is
It's really
this?
good,
It's
and it's
unbelievable.
also really versatile. I'm going to show you some different things you can do with the frosting as well. So let's talk about
Yeah,
the
say about it
final
quickly.
product.
So
of
the
sauerkraut.
red lid is the one that I add actually some water to it because I just want to experiment. And now, two little things that I didn't do. I didn't mix it. I mean, I did kind of pushing and squeezing in, but I didn't mix like I normally do. So I don't really know what's gonna come out of it. I normally mixing and I normally changing. And I can tell you now, because I kind of started tasting before we did, and I'm like, oh, what if it's a disaster? It's not. So this one is a regular way I made, so you're just beating up a lot of the cabbage and the juices comes out really, really nicely. And it just covers the juice, the cabbage really, really well. And it's really, really good. However, the one that I add some water to it, and it wasn't a lot, like we're talking about not even a quarter of a cup. It's different. The taste is like water, you know what I'm saying? Like you taste like, oh, and then you're like, that's not that great. So
the original is best.
the original is best. If you can, try not to add any water. Just beat a lot of that, that cabbage with like, somebody suggested on the video, which was amazing suggestion. It's a wooden temper.
Yeah.
And that wooden temper you can really like beat up, because if you're using your like hands and stuff, or like in old school, you would put in a barrel and a feet and you're just like going for it, then it's getting tiredness, and it's cold. It's very cold, so it's very kind of unpleasant experience. But the wooden has to be wooden pounder. Temper. It's the best. So I am actually looking forward to purchase myself this thing, and I also found on Amazon this. I don't know how many gallons this is. I think it's a 1.9 or 1 gallon or something like this. I think there's a difference, like a sizes of a stone, like a jar that it's specifically only for the fermentation. Has a stone inside that you can weight it. Has a lid on it and all those kind of things. Has also like a little like underneath the lid. There's a little like a place that the juice comes out. And it stores there, so you can just pick it. It's very good.
So what we'll do is put those links, if you are interested, maybe in the sauerkraut video. We'll put them in this one as well because we talk about it. But there's just so many things you can do with sauerkraut. But
this is great.
It turned out really good. I hope. Let us know if you made your sauerkraut last week. Let us know how it turned out and what you think.
Yeah, and now when you're ready, you want to close the lids and put it into the fridge, so you're stopping the fermentation process. Yeah, and you can keep it for a few months in that place. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Okay, let's make a cake, right? Okay, so I've got a large mixing bowl. I'll put all of the recipe down in the description below. First thing I'm going to do is I've got 1 cup of plant milk. I find for baking, I like organic soy milk, and I'm going to put a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar in there, and I'm going to let that kind of curdle. This creates, I don't know if you guys can see that. This creates almost like a buttermilk, but like a vegan version of it, because it begins to curdle. So that will just sit for a couple of minutes.
And I'm just laughing here because I know that this thing is coming, and it's just, we're gonna have it so much of it, it's gonna be awesome.
Well, yeah, because I had to make an extra cake to show you guys the final product, because you don't want to sit here for the baking time.
And we show you the final product
but I'm giving it away.
End,
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm starting with a cup of organic raw cane sugar. Okay, substitutions that could be made, but I have not tried. You could use monk fruit sweetener instead of sugar. I find that a lot of times when I'm using that in recipes, it's a healthier alternative. This is a 1/4 cup of avocado oil. If you don't want to use avocado oil, we can't say that, you could probably use applesauce. Again, I haven't tried it, but I do use applesauce a lot for kind of a substitution to make things healthier. So I've got the oil, the sugar in there. I'm going to put a teaspoon of vanilla in there.
And isn't like avocado oil much healthier than...
No oils are healthy. No
okay.
oils are healthy. Like, you don't want to have oil in your everyday. This is truly an exception.
Okay.
Would you do me a favor, love it, and just plug that in? Otherwise, I'm going to beat this cake without any energy. Yeah, I mean, as much as you can to like limit your oil or just keep it out of your diet altogether, you're going to be in a much healthier position for your heart, for your weight loss, all of that. That being said, let's put some oil in the cake. Okay, now from here, 1 bowl, super easy. I'm gonna put a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to put, nope, none of that came out.
Yeah, I'm like, nothing happened there.
perfect. I'm gonna put, what do I got here? A teaspoon and a half of baking powder. If you can find non-aluminum baking powder, that's gonna be a little bit better. Half a teaspoon of baking soda.
Did I find a good one?
No, but I still had some of the old ones.
Oh no! You see, I have clue for some things, but when I'm go to store like baking powder because I never use it, I'm like no aluminum. I'm like,
But
I don't know.
also, like when you go, I don't know about you guys, but when you go to the store, I haven't been to the store in months. You're just going,
Yeah,
and it's like quarantine. You're like, I gotta just pick this
Once
up, and
for a very
once
long
I grab
time.
this, then I
Yeah.
can't touch anything else, and
Yeah,
it's like a
just
stressful
very
situation.
different moment right now. In the I don't like it. Mask, glasses, like gloves, everything.
I'm gonna put a cup and a half of all-purpose flour. Again, if you wanted to try a healthier version, you could use a spelt flour. Spelt flour is not a greater, but a good substitute if you are trying to keep things a little bit healthier. And then right here, I don't think you will see unless I pour it out. It's curdled a little bit, so that's probably enough. And I'm gonna pour this in. So I've got all the ingredients right there. I feel like I put everything in. I'm gonna stir it just a bit, and then I will beat it until it gets softer. I'm gonna take these giant balloon sleeves out of the way.
I love this dress. I mean, I know it's like kind of weird to say it like in front of camera, but it's beautiful.
Okay, so now, I
Right.
have to remember which hand I prefer this in.
No,
Maybe you can show them like a close-up of this,
Yeah,
what it looks
no.
like.
oh, like now?
Yeah.
Come on over.
So just enough to mix the ingredients and get any lumps out.
And as you see, she's an expert in it. She made a lot of those
I
cakes
have made a lot of these
for
cakes.
birthdays. For my birthday.
Okay, that's probably good.
It's good.
And then what you want to do is put it into your baking pan of choice. Now we're definitely crooked.
Oh, now forget
For sure.
it. Yeah.
So my final product one, I used like a round glass baking pan, and that's totally fine. I'm going to use for this time around you okay?
Let me check on it.
A tin baking pan. But like I said, I've used like a larger, it'll just be small, like, you know, a smaller cake, a larger glass pan, and you can do cupcakes as well. So if you want, you could put parchment paper in this so you don't have to grease the pan. I did grease the pan. And what I'm gonna do now is just pour that in. Okay, see if you can see this. And it just needs to be, you know, like a consistency. It's not too liquidy, it's not too thick, it pours easily. If you feel like you've made it too liquidy somehow, if, I don't know, like if you've put too much of something, you can always add a little bit more flour.
Oh my gosh.
And another tip to try and keep it healthy, if you feel like you're somebody who likes to bake and eat the batter while you bake and then half the cake is gone, have something before you make this, or have some juice so that, you know, like a vegetable juice, so it kind of grosses you out to want to have sugar at the same time.
Right, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
actually.
that's normally what I do when I'm making this for other people, because I just don't want to taste it. I know the formula works, so there's no reason for me to be eating it the whole time.
Yeah, and like
Are you okay, baby?
when someone else in our family has a birthday and we actually making this cake, I am telling you, this cake is gone in a matter of like
Yeah.
10-15 minutes. And
My
for
dad
four
is
people.
like
Yeah,
insane
Dad and
about
I
this
are
cake.
like crazy for this
They
cake.
could eat this cake like by themselves. Okay, then I'm just gonna take, well, this will work, like a little knife, and then just make sure I've spread it evenly because you don't want it to be, you know, higher on one side than the other. And then all you do with that is put it in the oven at 350. I've already got it preheated. You can put it in there.
Yep.
And then, depending on your oven, cook it for 20 to 25 minutes. And that is that. Of course, if you're making cupcakes out of them, maybe test it around the 20-minute mark. Just put a little toothpick inside either the cake or the cupcake. And then you'll be able to tell if it's done. So I'm going to now set up, can you bring all these things over to the table? I'm gonna set up to show you how to make the frosting, which is really also very easy.
And that frosting is like, oh man.
It's super easy, super unhealthy,
Yeah.
and super versatile.
Like Michelle said, like once in a while, you know, we're not promoters of of eating unhealthy, because we actually, know a lot of like unhealthy, how you say, results after, having stuff. So, but once, what did I just
Technical
say?
answer.
I have no idea what I just said.
Okay, yeah, no, I agree. I mean, we eat healthy 99% of the time. We have cake on our birthdays. You know what I mean?
Birthdays, yeah. It's good.
So to make this frosting, then you're just gonna add a couple things. I've got softened butter here. I'm gonna use this again.
You wash it?
And then, yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. I like to use Earth Balance, which is a vegan butter, or Miyoko's butter. Those are really, I think, probably the ones I've used the most, and they make it taste really creamy. So I've got this softened. I just left it out on the counter for a while. You don't want it completely melted, or the consistency of your frosting will be a little bit difficult to work with. So I've got half a cup of butter, which is a lot, but you know.
If you think about it, now when I see what's in it, I'm
It's
like,
too much. It's just butter and sugar. And then I've got powdered sugar here. A note about powdered sugar, you want to make sure that you're getting powdered sugar that is vegan, because a lot of powdered sugars, or even just like white sugars in general, have something called bone char in them,
Really?
which is exactly what it sounds like. It's burnt animal bones.
That's disgusting.
It is disgusting. So just make sure that you get a brand that doesn't have that. A good brand. Oh, you got a runny nose. The brand that I know does not have bone char in it and makes a vegan powdered sugar is called, I wrote it down, wholesome sweeteners. So I know that I've seen that in a lot of grocery stores and online, so you could do that. So I've got the butter, I've got the powdered sugar, I've got a lot more powdered sugar that I'll add in a moment, but if you turn on the mixer, it just makes a bunch of dust. I'm gonna put like a splash of vanilla in there, maybe like a 1/4 teaspoon total. And then I'm also using, again, that organic soy milk, just a splash there. It's a matter of finding the right consistency for this frosting, but you know what frosting is supposed to look like, right? So then you just keep adding powdered sugar until you get to that consistency. So I'll start, why can't I never, I'm like, not right. I'll start to mix. And then I'm gonna add more powdered sugar. There we go. You wanna do a close-up of this? So it's getting there, but it's not quite a frosting consistency yet. Okay, now it's getting closer for sure. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. So you can see it's a little bit thin, but actually that's gonna be good because it doesn't fall off the spatula really easy. Okay, so that's all you gotta do to make the kind of vegan buttercream frosting. Now I'm gonna tell you about a couple different variations you can do on this. If you wanted to do more of a cream cheese frosting, I mean, this basic recipe could work for any cake that you make. You could do it on a chocolate cake, you could do it on a carrot cake. If you wanted to do like a carrot cake with cream cheese frosting, you would do the same thing, but you would also add vegan cream cheese. That's the word.
Today we were lacking words. The night was very
Yeah, I was awake
crazy.
most of the night, so excuse my lack of brain. Was it? Vegan cream cheese. If you wanted to make a cream cheese frosting, a lot of times like tofuti comes like in a little. Can you actually just show them like what a vegan cream cheese?
Yeah.
I would use probably like half of that, so I don't know exactly the ounces, but like half the package, and it really tastes wonderful if you want to do a cream cheese frosting. So something like this brand works really well. And then another option
Yep. Nice.
if you want to make a flavored frosting, through trial and error, I've learned the easiest way to do that is to do like a freeze-dried fruit. So say I wanted to make this, you know, without having like, you know, red dye 40 or something in a food coloring, but you wanted it to taste like strawberry frosting, for example, which I've done before. I use freeze-dried strawberries, and I put maybe like a cup until it gets to the color you want, but then it also tastes like real strawberries. You could do that with banana or mango, or you could do it with anything. So that is that. Okay, so we've got the frosting made, and now I'm just gonna show you, oh, another thing I wanna tell you is you can do this frosting really basic. That's what I've done in the demonstration to show you guys here. Or if you want, this frosting really lends well if you're doing like any piping, like if you're more advanced at you know, baking and cake making and you wanna make designs, it holds really well. You just wanna make sure, like if you're making little flowers or any little designs with small or large piping, that you put it in the fridge afterwards so it holds. Okay, I think that was all the variations I wanted to say about that. So let me show you the final product. And then we put, if you'll notice, we put our little happy birthday candles on here because we had those left over from Eli's birthday, but we have no A in happy birthday.
That's what you get when you don't go to the store whenever you want.
So easy vegan quarantine, give us some slack kind of thing. We put some sprinkles on there. We made it really, really basic. Again, with sprinkles, you want to make sure that you've gotten vegan sprinkles if you decide to put that on there. Another thing that you could do is if you're making like that strawberry cake, you know, vanilla cake that I was talking about, you could actually slice fresh strawberries or put freeze-dried strawberries on top. There's really lots of leeway to create whatever kind of cake you want to. So, oh, are you gonna cut it and have a piece?
Yeah, so they can see the inside.
Oh yeah, of course.
You do. You are so much better at it. Right.
One more thing I want to say. If you have, when you're putting the frosting on, if you have a spatula for frosting, it's going to go on easier, obviously. Otherwise, you can just use, you know, to scoop it out initially, a larger like plastic spatula. That's good. Or just like a knife. But if you have something like this, it's going to be easiest to spread. Okay, so
let's do this.
Let's do it. We'll make a little piece.
And Eli, poor guy, have never had it yet.
Never had cake, and I'm not going to give it to him.
To him, ice cream is the frozen bananas.
Yeah. It's hard to get that out without like a pie slicer.
I know, we don't have that. We need to get it one day.
I guess I'll use a fork. Okay. I don't really know. I feel like I'm going to screw this up.
Yeah, without that special tool, it's kind of hard.
I'm definitely going to screw this up.
Yeah?
Do you guys mind if it's ugly?
Yeah, I don't know where our... Do we ever had one like that?
No. Okay.
We very tried to be as minimalist as possible, but obviously. So look, this is like on this, and looks, you know, it's trust me, it's not like dry as it looks. It's actually very moist. Let me just show you. Ta-da! Bon appetit.
And mom and sis, if you're watching this, this cake is for you. So we'll bring it over in a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is so delicious.
That is how to make a really simple, easy vegan birthday cake. If you have a birthday coming up in your family or for yourself.
I do, in December.
I hope we're not in quarantine in December still.
Oh, man.
This is an easy recipe to make. Once this video is up, I will put in the description the whole recipe so you guys can make it and enjoy it with your family. But don't enjoy it all the time on a special occasion.
It's so good.
What else do I want to say? If you guys have any requests for recipes, I've gotten a couple, so I kind of know what I'm doing for the next few lives. But if you want to see me make anything else, preferably on the healthier side than cake, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, I think that's it. Yeah? What else do we want to say?
That's it. We just say thank you.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Thank you for all the comments, for the support. It's really like...
Yeah, you guys have been really sweet.
Really amazing at it. Because, you know, those videos are sometimes longer than we actually want it to be. But, you know, things happen and we talk and stuff. But thank you so much for being a part of this.
Yeah.
And please, like, you know, share with your friends. Because I'm telling you, this...
It's good. And everybody loves it.
All the recipes that we give you... Oh, maybe I should say it. Even though it's very confident and maybe kind of weird what I'm going to say. But, you know, Polish people has a lot of cojones. So, you know. But a lot of recipes online, they look beautiful and they are disgusting. They are like... We start making some of them just to try and see, you know, oh, well, this looks amazing. Looks amazing, right? And then you just like start making it And in the middle of the making, you realizing that's like everything is missing here. Like there's no spice, there's no depth of the taste, or taste too dry, or taste most of the times the coconut oil, which is like used everywhere, and everything tastes like a coconut oil, right?
Yes. Long rant summary is not everything looks as good as the picture, but this recipe is as good as...
Not just this, I'm telling you, a lot of our recipes are amazing.
When I make a recipe, I don't want it to taste gross. I don't want you to be like, ugh, I wasted all that time and ingredients.
You're never gonna waste the time.
I always want to make sure what I make is good, and I have gotten feedback from you guys that you like it too. So I think Tori just said looks yummy and she's gonna try it. Do try it. Let me know what you think.
Tori, this
and
is
yeah,
awesome.
I'm gonna stop now because I feel like the video is long. And we will see you. I trust your recipes. Thank you so much. Okay, we will see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Be safe. Be healthy. Have a little cake, and then be healthy again.
Enjoy the moment.
Okay, bye guys. Have a great day.